Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am the Crypto Smith. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, I'm still alive. Coming back to you, the end of summer, winter is upon us. It's time to get back into cryptocurrency content, and hopefully you guys will come along for the ride. And before I really get started, I've got to give a spoiler alert. Mmai is not dead. Okay? Just so you know, you don't have to wait all the way till the end to find out if Mmai is dead or not. It's not dead, right? It's just a title, maybe a little clickbaity to get you to watch, and it worked because you're watching. So what I want to talk about today is Mmai in particular, but the crypto market in general as well. And what you see here on the screen is a representation of our home. This is planet Earth. Now I understand, this is going to irritate some people, right? They're going to say this is not the proper graphical representation because the Earth is flat. So you have those flat earthers out there, and then people who believe that Bigfoot is real and the Loch Ness Monster exists and that Joe Biden's a good president. But for the rest of us, we live on this planet with billions of people, and there are literally hundreds of millions of people who have never heard of Bitcoin. There are hundreds of millions of people who have never even heard the term cryptocurrencies that exist. I know that's hard to believe coming from the first world perspective that we all have. I'm assuming everybody here is probably living in some first world situation, but that just shows how big of a planet we have, how many people exist here, how big the ecosystem could be for cryptocurrency. But I've got people literally living across the street from me who have never heard of XRP, Ethereum, Mmai, Shibarium, Neroni, Pepe. They've never heard of any of those because they have no reason to hear of them, right? It doesn't affect their lives in any way yet, right? Not that some of these are going to affect their lives ever, but you get what I'm saying. Our community, our crypto community, is so infinitesimally small that most of us can't wrap our heads around it. Now, you've got your blue chip cryptos, your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your XRPs, and the maxis that go along with it. And then you've got the community side and the DeFi side and the meme token space. And yeah, you can call it a meme coin because it currently doesn't have a use case. Now, it does have utility, right, which is a wallet that's going to be used for people to buy and sell. The hot wallet, they're going to have the cold wallet, the cold storage version, and then they're going to have an offline payment capability as well. And then they've got the pure world, which is a metaverse. There's going to be some e-commerce attached to that. These are all utilities, right? So the project has utility, but it doesn't have any use case. So we're waiting for the use case to come out so that we can see this thing move forward. Now I mentioned, is Mmai dead? Well, if you look at the chart, it looks dead, right? It's been down for quite a while. It's just kind of bouncing around here. There really isn't any activity. If you go over to the X channel, you'll see there's not a lot of new posts being posted. That doesn't sound right. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, right? There's not a lot of activity, not a lot of engagement going on in these social channels. Also because there's not a lot to talk about, but still we have to figure out as a community how to keep coming together, how to keep this thing alive for the next step. Now, the next step is probably going to be much, much bigger than what we're doing. Now, I'd like to see us come together and continue to talk about and keep this thing moving, at least within our community, right? Our community is still very small. And once the wallet comes out and they actually start some real world marketing and getting that thing out there in order for the rest of the world to see, right? Because we like to be here. We like to talk to each other. We like to bounce ideas off each other. We like to, share in the excitement, of what's to come. But if there is real world marketing to come behind this wallet release, whenever that is in the next, weeks or months, that's going to be much bigger than just the small social media community that we have for Mmai. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference in the, community involvement going forward. Clearly, if there are tens of thousands of holders or hundreds of thousands of holders, like I think there will be in the future, obviously our involvement, I don't know if all those holders are going to be on social media, and they may not be on X or on the Discord, chopping it up and having fun with everybody. So we've got to keep that in mind, right? We've never seen a crypto project go from community/meme token to blockchain coin to major project being introduced to the public to actual success being had out there in the real world. We have not seen it yet. Mmai would be the first of its kind to get out there and actually be successful. And I believe they can be. So is it dead? No, of course it isn't. They're just building behind the scenes. They're waiting for an ISO audit on the wallet itself and an audit of security features, I'm sure. So that's super important. That has to be done. There may be another beta that comes out after that's complete, and they've hopefully made some improvements to the wallet and got some of the things fixed, I think, that were mentioned in the community. And maybe they give us another chance, another week or two to test it out and make sure that everything's working right, making sure that all the things are spelled correctly and the dots are in the right place and the right number of zeros, in each of the placeholders. So that's what we're looking at here coming up. Hopefully, very soon, hopefully in the next couple weeks or months, but we don't really know. So I want to talk about hype versus real world use case, right? And I've just explained the difference between utility and use case. A project can have utility. That's the idea of the real world application that they want to produce, right? That's some product or service that they have that they think they can get out there and that can be useful out there in the real world. Use case is that actual application in the real world being utilized by the public. So we've got utility, we have no actual use case as of yet, and that's what they're working on. So the real value of this project is going to come from that use case, not from the hype of the utility, but from the real world application of the wallet being out there. They're paying the $50 or $60 it's going to take to open up that cold storage feature. Some of that's going to go back to tokens held in the wallet. That's going to start holding the floor of the token price. Once blockchain comes out, which I believe they said is late this year, early next year, I would assume maybe Q2. I would always add a couple of months on, to when it sounds like you think they're going to come out with something. It's always a safe bet to do that because these things always take a lot longer than anticipated. So when blockchain comes out, it turns to a coin, and then that's going to start holding the floor. And then with that blockchain, there's going to be use case with that as well, including mining, which we'll talk about here in the coming weeks. But I want to throw that out there so that those of you just like me who are kind of down, a little depressed, right? We'd like to see a little more movement. We would certainly love to see some activity and some communication from the development team. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. They really don't owe us anything. It would be nice, right? That's just a courtesy, something nice for them to do, but they don't owe us anything. Just because I have a lot of their tokens and I own a bunch of NFTs for the metaverse, that doesn't mean they owe me answers. They don't owe me updates. They don't have to tell me what's going on all the time. So I think we're going to take it on ourselves. Some of us in the community, we can keep this thing alive. So I've already had people ask me, why would they pay you to do videos if you're doing them for free? And I'm going to say, you know what? It doesn't matter to me. The community, this project is more important than that. The little bit of money I was getting as a content creator was great, but the future value I may get from the tokens that I hold is way, way bigger. So that's way more important to me than getting a little bit of money to create content for this project. And like I said, the community involvement is going to be tiny compared to what the overall use case is going to bring to this community and the ecosystem. So I'm saying, let's say, another couple of months for the wallet, probably 6 months or more, Q2 next year for the blockchain. This is my own timeline. This is not regurgitating what they've said. This is how I'm viewing it myself so that I don't get bogged down in the day-to-day, hey, what's coming out next? Where's this at? Why are we waiting so long, right? So I give myself, hey, we're looking at March, April, May maybe for blockchain. Metaverse, that's going to be another situation entirely. I know there are separate groups of people working on each one of these projects within the ecosystem. So I'm going to say probably 12 months from now for that pure world to come out, the NFTs to be of use. They start building, the back end stores and the marketplaces and the billboards. They're going to have to come up with some sort of department for customer support, right? Not everybody's going to be able to do everything inside that metaverse. They're going to need help. They're going to need answers. So they're going to have to put together a team of people just to handle that once that thing gets off the ground. So there's a lot of building that has to go along with this project as we move into the future. So we want to keep in mind short-term hype, right, which doesn't last long. That comes from the hype of the utility that they've said is going to be there. And that's what we use when we look at, Shibnobi, and we use that with Terrarium, and we use that with countless other complete garbage bullshit projects that ended up doing nothing because they didn't have the experience, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the wherewithal to withstand a bear market, and they couldn't handle the community asking questions, right? This is what happens to most of these that actually probably had good intentions to start, but ended up crashing their project, and most of them, I'm sure, cashing out and walking away because it was just too difficult. And with MMAI, we can see this is an actual real company. This is multiple companies with real people who are willing to put themselves on the line, their face, their reputation to build this. So this isn't something where they're just going to walk away from, or they're going to throw their hands up and be like, well, I don't know, it's taking too long. The community doesn't have, we don't have the community support anymore. So we're just going to wrap things up and we'll see you. That's not the case here, right? They're a real business. They're going to follow through. The success is going to be on the products that they launch and the marketing behind that and how far they can push that out into the real world. One of the other things that we get to learn from this project, this ecosystem that they're building, is the actual length of time it takes to complete a project, to even get to the next step, right? We heard fake things before from countless other projects that never came through with anything. And if they did come through, it was something that was not as advertised, never went according to plan. It was always somebody else's fault. But it takes a long time to build these things, even longer than I think they initially anticipated. And look, here's SHIB, right? Shibariums, they've been building for years, and it's still pretty much an irrelevant project, right? Not many people are building on Shibarium. Not many people are really interested in SHIB any longer. They're only interested in the hype aspect of the price going up and down, right? That's what people are into it for. I'm into RFox. Now, RFox is another metaverse platform that I've been in for, I don't know, a year. Well, maybe not a year. They've been around a couple of years they've been building. But I own an apartment inside this metaverse, and one of the characters that I purchased as an NFT just for fun, right? Just to kind of see where they're going to take it, kind of do a back and forth with maybe Pure World and kind of see how they differ. Now, this one really is more geared towards a social engagement. They're really not much on the e-commerce platform, so they're really not competitive. This is just another metaverse project that perhaps can link up with Pure World someday. You've got Mmai, right? Great idea, great project, seem like good people, but this, who knows where this is going to go? Right? People have to have interest, an ongoing interest to keep these things afloat. Neroni, fantastic idea, great project. I love what they're doing, but there's just not a ton of interest in this just yet. And you have to remember, once the bull run really kicks off and you start getting these 1,001 brand new scam Inu rug pull tokens that we're going to see, a lot of new people coming in are going to want to invest in those because they think they're going to get a 10x, 100x return on those, just like the bull run of the past, and really kind of hesitate of putting their money into something that's already been around for a year or 6 months. And they say, hey, it hasn't gone anywhere yet. Why would I put my money into that right now? Where I can get a 10 or 100x on the next shitcoin coming out. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where my head's at going forward. If we're going to have this bull run, if this is really the start of it, if we're going to get this spot Bitcoin ETF kicking off, then yeah, I think it's really going to help the market. Who knows for how long, but that's for another day. I believe that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you coming back, checking me out. I'm going to be doing live streams on Wednesday nights and Saturdays again. And then doing a couple of videos throughout the week. So prepare for more content. If you want to get together and you want to talk about MMAI on my live stream, I'll probably be doing it on most live streams, just throwing a little bit of content out there just to keep people involved, maybe bring some excitement back to it, and just talk about it. Let's just talk it out, and we can get this thing done. So that's all I got for you. Hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you guys next time.